Hello and welcome to the McEwen Bros podcast. My name is Jamie. This is episode number 11, and today we have Gregor. And this episode is all about 4 destinations, 2 of Gregor's, 2 of mine, where we think you must visit, must try, must see. So, Gregor, destination 1, let's get started.
So my destination is a form of experience where it's a gin distillery. Now there's a brand in Scotland called Pickering's Gin, and in Edinburgh you can actually go and visit their small distillery in a place called Summer Hall, which is I guess kind of like a place where it's basically a venue, and it's also got businesses operating out of this. And Pickering's Gin have their own operation there, and you can go and join the tour, see how they operate, how they make the gin, how they started. They even show you some of the early equipment they were using. So, for example, to label the bottles, they're all doing it individually, and they actually still hand dip the wax for the bottles. And they showed you, the big tray that's melting the wax, and they have to dip it in and kind of put it onto the different shelf. All very kind of like rudimentary, basically. You think, why is this not a bigger operation? But maybe they have another outlet now. Anyway, that's the point. This little label machine was literally like it looks like a Frankenstein machine. It's made out of all these different kind of electronic bits. It's obviously not pre-bought off the shelf because they just were doing it on a budget. But super interesting. Would recommend. And don't think it's too expensive. I think you're talking about less than maybe £20 ticket. And when you go there, you get a wee tour around. You get a drink before you go in, and at the very end, you get to taste a shot of your choice of their choice of gins. One of them is called the Gunshot Gin, which is actually a higher percentage than a normal gin. Reason being is that you would use this to back in the days. What the story behind it is that they say they used the Gunshot Gin to light cannons on the ship when they're importing them. Um, Basically, the Gunshot Gin is a higher percentage to make sure it's actually flammable and you can light it with a match. So if you chose this gin, you're pretty much in trouble right away shossing it because it's a higher percentage. But yeah, nice experience. Not too expensive. Close to Edinburgh Centre. It's near the Meadows, basically. A place called Summer Hall.
In terms of the gin, Gregor, obviously, so you go for like a tour of the place and you get to see everything, how they do it and how they're making it, these gins. Did you get like how much of a tasting thing was it like was it just like a tour or like was there like at the end of it? Obviously, you told me about you got the shot of this shotgun one, but do you get other like do you get like to try a whole load or is that like extras or is there different tours you can do?
Yeah, there's a price. Well, you pay the price, and then how much ever it is. And at the start, you go into the bar, and the bar they offer you gin. You get a choice of a single gin and tonic, and that's why you're waiting around for everybody to turn up. And then once that's done, they give you a little tour, and at the end, you get a shot. So you're getting, I guess, 2 portions of gin or shots of gin during your tour. Um, not like amazing. If you're expecting like a full bottle from the price or whatever, but for £20, or less than probably £20, and you get to experience what they're doing, and it's a nice experience. You learn a bit as well, and this was pre-pandemic, I must say. So yeah, there was a lot more mingling and stuff, people going around.
I thought maybe. Do you think it could have had more added to like? Obviously, for £20, it's pretty good value when you get. You can pay for in a bar. You can pay a gin and a tonic can be £5, and a shot of gin probably £3-4. Plus, then you get the tour of facilities and you get to see everything, learn some history of how they're made. So probably quite a good sort of experience for the value for money. So a good place for, especially for Edinburgh, where it can be expensive to do pretty much anything. So good sort of place.
You're not really going there to for value for money, and it is, relatively speaking, you are getting a bit of value there, but it's just more of a different experience to do. Right in the centre of Edinburgh, where else are you going to get that experience? So something quirky to do. Um, Jamie, I mentioned my first one. What is your first experience or destination you'd like to share?
So mine's is a destination. Mine is Val d'Isère in France. It is a skiing resort where you go, obviously for skiing or snowboarding, or you can actually just go for holiday. It's got a lot of chalets and stuff that you can book out. and just sort of
Jimmy, can I just say something?
yeah.
Try and stop saying
Okay. What do you think about that? It's so hard, Gregor. It's so hard.
It
But
is hard, but you say it a lot, so just try and stop.
I'll try and stop. So on the base, I've been to Val d'Isere in 2019. I really enjoyed the experience. It's something that I would recommend for everyone to sort of go to. On the trip, we got a bus from Scotland all the way to Val d'Isere. Included in their pricing, we got our we got our we got our accommodation. We got our tickets for the slopes or our passes to get up and down, and you also got hiring of equipment. I was lucky enough to have older brother who's already got some equipment, so he managed to use some of his to save some money. But overall, you can go away for like 4 days, 5 nights, £500, get all this sort of included through a company called Nuco Travel, which we did it through the university. I would also recommend if you're a university student to go through and join your snow sports club, because what you'll do is it'll give you an opportunity to obviously make new friends, but you also do different things such as activities every night. So we had like themes every night where we did like 80s, so you get dressed up. We also have events organized, so the university would organize where you'd go away through the Nuco Travel. They would do like one of the ones we did is a hut where you got to experience different sort of culture out there, try the food, malted wine, just different sort of atmosphere to get into. So I would definitely recommend, for me, that's my sort of place destination I would recommend. It doesn't have to be Val d'Isere. I've been to Pila in Italy, which is another resort. So I'd overall recommend the snow sports aspect. If you've never tried snow sports, it's worth getting into. There's plenty of dry slopes all around Scotland that you can try to actually get into skiing and snowboarding before you go spend large amount of money to go abroad. So I would definitely recommend that. And also, um, when you do go on these sort of holidays, just make the most of it. Explore these mountains. Sometimes you can be up there all day and not do every single track. We were there for 4 days of skiing, and I still didn't do every single slope because it's that vast and that big, especially in Val d'Isere. So, Gregor, that is my destination for number one, and I would recommend that you go. I know you haven't done the ski trip.
Would you recommend it for a non-skier?
I would recommend a non-skier to go get lessons beforehand to make the experience more enjoyable. So when you can go, you can do more while you're there, because there's so much, as I say, slopes and different areas you can get to. But some of the slopes are tricky; they are hard to get to, especially if you want to go to the top of the mountain. Top of the mountain's normally where the harder runs are at. The black ones, the red runs, which are just steeper and they're more tricky to sort of navigate down. So to be able to do these runs, 100% recommend. Even if it was like, I reckon if you're a quick learner, 2 months of lessons, one lesson a week, you'd be enough. If you're quite slow learner, I would probably say 4 to 6 months and then go.
What's the, if you're to sum it up in like a couple of points, what's the best bit about it? Because you've mentioned a lot there. What's your favorite part of the whole trip?
It's a place you'd never see anywhere else. You go up to the top of a mountain where everything's covered in snow. You get a thrill because you're going fast down a slope. And then also the social aspect of, if you go with a university, you get the opportunity to have meet new people. We went and there was another 5 unis that were there. Every event there you get to mingle with other universities, other people. So yeah, that's my three sort of key points. It's something you nowhere else in the world you ever get. It's um
It's expensive.
it's not the cheapest thing to go do. I think for 5 days I probably spent all in around about £1,000,
How much is that on alcohol?
£500 of it.
There you go.
So
That's a good summary of Jamie's spending habits while abroad on a skiing holiday.
yes.
You don't have to spend.
Okay. So Gregor, what is your second destination? Or not destination, or should I say place for you?
Place, yes, experience as well is Murrayfield Ice Rink. So obviously in Edinburgh we've got the Murrayfield Rugby Stadium. Obviously hugely popular venue, but kind of just next to it, literally just next to it, is an ice rink. And what you can do there is you can go and watch the kind of semi-professional ice hockey teams, and you can also, depending on the evening or the day, you can actually go and ski, ice skate as well. You can ice skate on this
I mean, you
rink.
could ski if you wanted, but it'd be
You
a bit
could.
weird.
Um, I thought it might be a bit hard without the slopes. But anyway, it's good fun. You know, even if you're not that good at it, they give you like these devices which you can like hold on to, go with somebody, hold on to the side, and build it with confidence to get out on the actual ice. Once you do, you realize there's these little kind of toddlers fleeing around you that obviously been doing it since they're like could walk, and they're just like unbelievably good. And you're like, how on earth is this possible? But it gives you motivation to get better,
Uh-huh.
and you get a sense of achievement once you do a full circle around the rink without falling. You know, you get that sense of achievement, and plus, it's
Yeah.
where else it's not that I wouldn't say it's that popular of a hobby in the UK. Like you would normal people maybe wouldn't do it growing up. So it's a nice additional thing to have to be able to do in Edinburgh. But yeah, recommend it. Murrayfield Ice Rink.
When you went, Gregor, did you fall over?
Yeah,
And how sore was it?
it's almost like a kind of you kind of catch yourself. You kind of like slip, and then you go, "Oh, yeah, I've got it," and then you kind of stumble. But
Yeah.
you see people just do full plant like you fall back, and you need to watch because if your head is bounced off the ice, it's quite sore. So, but I think you've been Jamie. You went right.
Yeah, so recently I went as well to the local ice rink up in Aberdeen, down by the beachfront, and I didn't fall. Girlfriend fell, but she's got some massive bruise on her elbows from falling back and putting her arm out. It's yeah, it can definitely be a sore one. On an ice rink, I've fallen before and hit my head, which was not the most fun experience, but it's definitely a good experience to do. And I didn't really know where one was in Edinburgh, so these people know now. If you listen to this, go visit.
Yeah, that's very true. It's yeah, I don't know how many there are in the UK, but worth a visit if you're in Aberdeen or Edinburgh. Now, I've mentioned my two. Jamie, what's your final destination?
So my final destination is Isle of Skye in Scotland. So Isle of Skye in Scotland is somewhere I went in 2019 with my partner. We went away for a week into Isle of Skye and travelled all around. But the one place I would recommend on Isle of Skye, and there's plenty of places to see from um, the mountains, the just overall scenery, the whiskey tasting like the Taliskers distillery, lots of different things. But anyway, the main point I would recommend, and one thing you have to see if you do go to the Isle of Skye, is the Old Man of Storr. Old Man of Storr is a formation of rocks on a mountain where you can walk up. There's got parking when you arrive. You can actually get into. You have to pay for the parking on site. When you park there, you've got probably about an hour's walk all in to get to the top, and then obviously a little bit coming down. When we were there, they were building steps to go up, so you probably could do it a little bit quicker. I imagine that has been completed. Um, but it's just got this sort of almost teardrop like rock formation at the top, which just is so eye catching. It's not something you'd normally see. It just stands out. It's sort of like a god's creation.
It's quite popular, right?
Yeah, very popular sort of place to go to. When we were there, we had like there was like tourist buses, obviously doing tours, stopping off, dropping people off, to then do that, and then we're going to pick them back up. So it's definitely a popular place to go and see.
Is it a difficult walk?
No, I would say it's probably like a 5 out of 10 because the only thing is there's a couple of bits of steep bit, but now that they've put the steps in, I think it'll be really quite an easy sort of walk to do. It's just about obviously taking your time, pacing it up. There's plenty of things to sort of see when you get up there. But one of the things that I would recommend is taking a camera. Obviously, trying to go on a good day because we had a clear sky day. You can see for miles when you get up to the top of it. And then having a drone because of the rock formation. A couple of guys who were there when we were up had drones going around it, and it just I thought that would be such a cool sort of something to film if you're up there. So definitely a place to see if you go to Isle of Skye. Old Man of Storr is my final point.
Love that. Love that. Yeah, for kind of quite a range of things you can do in Scotland, visit. What we'll do is we'll maybe list on the description of our podcast and on our YouTube channel where these are, so you can actually find them. And if you have any questions about how to get to them, what was our experience about them, or if you have any questions regarding if it's definitely worthwhile, we do think it is, but we can give you more context. Let us know. Fire out in the comments on YouTube, and always give us a rating on Spotify. Now you can do that. And I know, Jamie, you're away out this evening. What's going on there?
So I am off to a new place that's opened up down the beachfront in Aberdeen. It's got sort of axe throwing. It's got darts. It's sort of one of these places where you can go and actually do quite a few different fun activities. So I will hopefully maybe in the next podcast talk to you a little bit about that, give you sort of background of what got on. But looking forward to axe throwing. Never done it before, something new, and it's new to Aberdeen. So
That's cool. Take if you get a video of you
yeah,
throwing an axe, because we'll put it in the next video or next YouTube thing, and we can get some clips for that. Spice it
will
up a
do.
bit. And yeah, thanks again for listening, everyone. And Jamie, enjoy your evening. Sounds fun.
Will do. Have a lovely evening, guys. Morning, afternoon, and we'll see you next week.
See you next week.